Dawson County is right there, and Gilmer County. So I don't know why I guess they're including that little part of the storm. I would think they should have done a Forsyth and Dawson and then a separate one here in terms of their little polygons for severe special weather statements. But that one, they're saying, is right on top of Ellijay, right? Moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. So that's this particular thunderstorm right there. Let's actually take this radar back a couple of scans. I mean, lightning's increasing on it, and you know, as these things get into higher elevation, they are lifting up over the higher elevations. Sometimes that can help them intensify a little bit more as they get that lift moving over the mountains. I would say this thunderstorm right here over northern Forsyth County is also strengthening. That's going to be moving northeast into Dawson County and also northern Forsyth County, not far from Coal Mountain. And then, of course, our still severe thunderstorm warning that is right over northeastern Gwinnett County. And that is until 7:45. Okay, we are now live in two different places. So if you are just joining us, my name is Melissa Nardo, a meteorologist with 11 Alive News in Atlanta. And we are streaming on our Weather Impact 24/7 channel on 11 Alive Plus, but also streaming now on YouTube. So if you're joining us on YouTube, we are tracking scattered thunderstorms over North Georgia, but one thunderstorm in particular over Gwinnett County has pulsed up. So we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning. That storm is right over Decula and it's moving northeast up into Barrow County. So this severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45 p.m. And I'll just tell you that this thunderstorm has a history of producing wind damage. And what exactly is that wind damage? Well, Jimmy Carter Boulevard right now moving eastbound is currently closed because we have this. This is a GDOT camera at Jimmy Carter Boulevard at Atlantic Drive. You can see a large tree, a lot of branches on that tree. It looks like it is almost kind of looks like a needle, some kind of needle tree rather than seeing a bunch of, it's almost like a piece of a pine tree there. But we have one Honda Civic right there and then some other kind of SUV. It's hard to make out the make and model on that, but that was in Norcross about 45 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago. That happened in Norcross, just outside of the perimeter, Jimmy Carter Boulevard at Atlantic Drive. That's when this also produced this thunderstorm, a 52 knot or 60 mile per hour wind gust at Peachtree DeKalb Airport. Now you can see kind of western Gwinnett County and DeKalb County and the city of Atlanta. We're seeing that the intensity of all those storms is really calming down, but where we still have an intense thunderstorm and a severe warned storm, that's over northeastern Gwinnett County. So as you're driving along that 316 corridor, you pass Lawrenceville, you get past 85, you're on 316, you get into Decula, heading out towards Winder, bam, you're going to hit that intense severe thunderstorm. This is what we call a pulse thunderstorm, where it pulses up in the summertime. It gets stronger. We see the lightning count really clustered close together and it increases. And then these storms can collapse. As they do so, we get that cool, fast moving air that's rushing out of the bottom of a thunderstorm. We call this a downburst. So these summer thunderstorms, actually, July has the most severe thunderstorm warnings on average in North Georgia just because of these pulse downburst producing thunderstorms. It produces more damaging winds, even though July sees a much lower tornado count in our region. But that storm right now is closing in on Brazelton, closing in on Winder. It's going to keep lifting northeastward into Jefferson. Now, what's interesting in this is that I'm seeing, as we kind of move that radar through the last few scans, you see how we had a lot of lightning right here, right over Decula. Now, as I take it to the most recent scans, we're not seeing the lightning as closely clustered. Let's put on the velocity mode of this radar. It's going to take me a second to pull it up because our radar in Peachtree City is down. So we have a couple of options. We have the radar from Robins Air Force Base to the south, and we also have the radar from Greer in North Carolina. I actually want to take, hold on a second, I'm going to look at this version of velocity because I like it better, the color palette here. Take Peachtree City, there we go. So I'm going to take this back. Yeah, so I think it already collapsed. You know, normally you see us look at this red and green mode of radar when we're looking at rotation signatures for tornadoes. In summertime, we look at this to see where we're getting downburst signatures. And it looks like that storm really pulsed up right over Decula and then kind of collapsed over Decula. And now it's not as strong of a signature as it's pushing up into Barrow County. So it may have already put down another round of damaging winds after already putting some down back in Norcross. That's right, Norcross is where we had that tree down. So there's Norcross, here's Decula, and now this is moving in towards Winder and Brazelton and up into Jefferson. So we still have some good lightning on it. It's not as closely clustered as it was about 10-15 minutes ago. Let's put a counter on this for you. 59 lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes. I mean, you know, that's not a small amount of lightning. You're probably hearing a lot of that crack of thunder outside. What I want to do is, this is all the lightning strikes. Let's look at negative versus positive. We have, if you didn't know this, we have positive polarity lightning and negative polarity lightning. The positive lightning strikes are stronger. They often last a little bit longer. They're carrying more energy. So they're often the lightning strikes that lead to tree fires, house fires, and things like that. It's just kind of how it goes. Doesn't mean that negative lightning is not dangerous. It is just as dangerous. It's just when we look at thunderstorms, when we see more positive lightning strikes versus negative lightning strikes, that tells us, hey, this is really quite the intense thunderstorm right now. The winds on this could be 60 miles per hour. The hail could be up to nickel sized, hail. So this is all of our lightning strikes. Now we're going to go to negative lightning strikes, pretty decent amount. Let's go to positive. You can see we've got this cluster of still some positive lightning strikes, including right there in western Barrow County. So still a very intense electric thunderstorm. We're also seeing that, let me take the lightning query off of there. We're also seeing that, sorry everybody, I'm doing 5 things at once. That's how we work now. Down in Walton County, we've also got some, look at that, right? Between and Monroe. Little lightning increasing on that right there as well. No lightning in Covington, just some heavy rainfall right over I-20. And then still in southeastern Butts County, this is a strong thunderstorm right there. That's moving out towards Jasper County, south of Monticello, moving out towards Hillsborough. And eventually, all this stuff, I just want to show you a big picture at radar. I just want to show you the direction of all this stuff. Look how crazy it is. I mean, it's just kind of cool. I'm going to take the radar back 3 hours ago to now. I think this is fun to look at how it's moved over the last 3 hours. So we had these thunderstorms first coming in from there, and they've kind of expanded outwards. And now instead of seeing almost this broken clustered line, we've got clusters of stronger thunderstorms. Let's go into this one in Dawson County and Forsyth County. That one looks like it's pulsing up just from that lightning count. And let's put a query on that. 28 lightning strikes. You know, that's not a small amount of lightning. Good cloud to ground lightning. And you know, this is moving out. If you've got friends at Lake Lanier, they're probably starting to hear those cracks of thunder in the distance. You know, the heaviest rain with this particular thunderstorm is probably going to just clip the northern side of Lake Lanier. However, remember, whenever you can hear thunder, you are close enough to be struck by lightning. We have what are called bolts from the gray, where, you know, you're not dealing with an intense thunderstorm, it's just some light rain or cloudy skies, and you can still have, we can have lightning strikes that can travel more than 10 miles, you know, away. A single strike of lightning can travel even 30 kilometers in one stroke of lightning. But we also have bolts from the blue, which are not as common, and those bolts from the blue, those happen when we have brighter skies and the lightning just comes out and you don't even expect it at all. That's what's really dangerous. Okay, let's go a little further north up into Gilmer County, eastern Gordon County, and northern Pickens County. Another thunderstorm there. This one, you know, it's kind, to me, it kind of looks disorganized. Let's go into our velocity mode. We've got to, again, take that Peachtree City radar out of the mix because that radar is currently down for maintenance this weekend. think it's, I mean, maybe some gusts to 30 miles per hour, but I'm not as impressed, except for, let's see if I can take this here, and then I want to look at radar. Oh, I got to go back to this radar. Might be more intense right in here, right over Talking Rock. A little bit more intense over Talking Rock. As we were just talking, we've got a new special weather statement, is what they call them, for our storm over Dawson County and Forsyth County. This one is until 7:45, so it's not a severe thunderstorm warning. They're just acknowledging, the Weather Service is acknowledging, like we were just talking about, the lightning going up, probably a little brief intense thunderstorm right between Coal Mountain and Silver City. That's lifting northeastward as well at about 20 miles per hour. And that is going to be sliding in up over Dawsonville. So that's more intense. And then we, of course, still have our severe thunderstorm warning. The lightning count on this is starting to get less impressive to me. That's good news, but that runs until 7:45 for Barrow County. Also moving in towards Brazelton and Walton County. Northern Walton County, and also Jackson County. So it's moving in towards Jackson County, and that warning runs until 7:45. I think this storm's collapsed. We'll see if it tries to repulse up and then collapse again, but I think it definitely collapsed closer to Decula. So that would be, if we take this radar back 2 hours, that would be its second. Okay, what's kind of, I'm going radar nerd on you all, but so it collapsed right in here. And then that part of the storm weakened. And then as it collapsed, we probably had some cool air outflow that rushed from this thunderstorm to this thunderstorm, and watch that one blow up. Watch. Bam. Just blows it up. These summer thunderstorms are so fun to watch on radar. And it's also kind of blown up this one. So again, one severe thunderstorm warning, couple of other strong thunderstorms out there right now. And this warning runs until 7:45 tonight. I think this storm in particular has probably already collapsed, but we'll see if it can try to get its intensity up again. We'll go back to this. Yeah, I think it's probably collapsed there. Maybe it's probably collapsed there. We'll see if it can pulse itself back up. It's still got a lot of heavy rain, still has some lightning, but it doesn't look like it is as intense in one area where I'm worried as much about another downburst occurring. So that is the latest on radar. Now, before we close out this live stream, I just want to show you what we're expecting for the weekend, because both Saturday and Sunday we are going to see some showers and storms, but it's not as many as what we're seeing out there this evening. You know, from a couple days ago to now, we've been pretty consistent, showing in our 7-day forecast that Friday would have a better coverage of rain, and then it would get lower through Saturday and Sunday. This is forecast track tomorrow morning, showing a mostly dry start around the metro. It's possible there could be some isolated showers in the North Georgia mountains. It's also possible that we may not see those isolated showers first thing tomorrow morning. Lunchtime will be mostly dry, and then for the afternoon, more of those scattered downpours and thunderstorms will start developing with heavy rainfall, lightning. You know, we could see a stronger storm possible with some gusty winds, but I don't think we're going to see an organized severe threat. They will calm down overnight tomorrow night, and then for Sunday, similar story where we see the afternoon chance of showers and storms, but my rain chance on Sunday is even lower than for Saturday. I'll show you a different model. That was our in-house model called the graph model. Let me show you what the high resolution rapid refresh model is. That is our HER model. It has this evening's thunderstorms painted. It has them clearing out overnight tonight. We'll go to tomorrow morning. It also has maybe that stray North Georgia mountain shower, and then as we go into the afternoon, it tries to pop up a couple of showers and storms. It has even less showers and storms on the map versus the other model. And then Sunday again starting mostly dry, and then for the afternoon bringing in another opportunity for a stray shower or storm. So forecast for tomorrow, starting off warm, muggy, humid. If you see one of those intense thunderstorms right now or this evening at any point, you know, we could see a little fog developing overnight tonight when we have this high humidity, not a lot of wind flow. It's very common for us to see fog early in the mornings in the summertime after a night of heavy storms. So we could see some of that tomorrow morning. Then for the afternoon, high of 94 with a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. And then for Sunday, we'll go with a high of 94 again with a 20% chance of showers and storms. Look at this graphic. You know, we're on track so far through yesterday as the 4th hottest July on record for Atlanta, but you know, we've still got another week to go. We're seeing consistent heat. We're just not seeing record-breaking heat for any one given day. With that being said, we've already had 30 days so far this summer at or above 90 degrees. We're on our way to meet that average, definitely, as we get into early August. 47 is the average number of 90-degree days for us on any given year. That's based on 30 years of data from 1991 to 2020. The record was back 6 years ago. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning. Nope, they've canceled it. Okay, great. That's good. 70 forecast. 4 days of mid-90s, slightly higher chance of showers and storms early next week because we've got more tropical moisture over us, and then a little backdoor front will come through and try to drop our rain chance down a little bit as we head into the middle part of next week. So it'll start moving in Wednesday and then really get a little bit drier outside by Thursday. So the good news is, okay, they have canceled off Gwinnett County and some of Barrow County from this severe thunderstorm warning. It still remains in effect for, looks like actually, okay, they've canceled the one warning, and I'm now seeing Hall County in this. Hall County might have been part of the original warning too. It just didn't fit on my screen right here. So we still have this one warning until 7:45 today for Barrow, Hall, and Jackson County. Honestly, it would just be right over Brazelton where the lightning count's still up there that maybe we could see one more little downburst. But this storm in structure does not look anywhere near as intense as it did when it was over Decula earlier. So still could be some gusty winds, 40, 50 miles per hour, perhaps as high as a 60 mile per hour wind gust, but I really feel that we're probably past the downburst that we had earlier. This, to me, on radar does not look as impressive. So still some heavy rain right over Brazelton and moving up towards Winder. It's kind of split the city of Winder. It looks like you've got storms to the south, storms to the north, but that's our one remaining severe thunderstorm warning. They have canceled it early for Gwinnett County. That area of intense thunderstorm activity has now moved out of the county. So southeastern Hall County, even though it looks like you don't really need to be in a warning, you're technically still in a warning south of Flowery Branch, south of Lake Lanier, and that will run until 7:45 tonight. So again, we are tracking these thunderstorms that could briefly turn intense. We've got one more thunderstorm right over Coal Mountain, Silver City, kind of east side of Dawsonville that has some good lightning on it, but no warning on that. Could be some gusts of 40 miles per hour. We've also got over Gilmer County, some intense storm activity right over Ellijay. Not far, going to be moving out towards Lake Blue Ridge into Fannin County as well. But our one severe thunderstorm warning is going to be expiring at 7:45, and even before then, I'm still seeing some lightning. It's still briefly intense over Brazelton, but we're not seeing that same downburst damaging wind signature that we saw earlier. So again, we know that the storms this evening have produced a little bit of wind damage. Some of that damage was over Norcross. Jimmy Carter Boulevard at Atlantic Drive has been closed eastbound because of these downed trees. You can see several lanes blocked, including 2 cars that had tree branches fall on top of them on Jimmy Carter Boulevard. That was the eastbound lanes, and also we believe that part of the westbound lanes may also have been blocked because of the downed trees. So that's the one storm damage report that we have so far from Gwinnett County. There was a 60 mile per hour wind gust at Peachtree DeKalb Airport, out towards kind of Norcross, Doraville area, Chamblee. But those storms have now exited the heart of Atlanta. They're moving through our eastern suburbs. Once we get this first push of storms through this evening, the chance of rain really starts to drop off. There could be an isolated additional shower or thunderstorm this evening, but it's really through the North Georgia mountains, up 85 as you're driving between Brazelton and up towards Commerce, and then out along I-20, moving out towards Putnam County, Greene County as well, Morgan County, where there could still be some stronger storm activity there. And then for tomorrow, lower rain chances start to move in. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. What you'll see though, coming up next is going to be that radar. Okay. And that is very important because that's going to help you still see where we are still tracking some intense thunderstorms, even though a lot of these are dropping below severe limits at this point. You can always catch that live radar, current temperatures, weather conditions on Weather Impact 24/7. That is our special channel dedicated 24/7 to weather information. We are on there live streaming as we have breaking weather information. There's other weather related content and always that looping radar that you'll see on Weather Impact 24/7 only on 11 Live Plus. For now, I'll send it back to that radar, and if we get any new warnings developing, I'll hop back on here on Weather Impact 24/7. Thank you to our YouTube audience as well for joining us here on 11 Live this evening.